Can you find the space between space and no space? I repeat, can you find the space? Can you find the space between space and no space? Mind fluctuates here. The experience of truth appears in this moment. You see, let me tell you about mind. Mind is the knowledge. Mind is the knowing. And within this universal mind, it appears that you have some sort of personal mind. And that in itself is true. But if you imagine that you're breathing from one whole tank of oxygen, and we have individual bottles or tubes off of this tank, you will experience your own quality of oxygen, but it is also a flavor of the same individual whole tank. Okay, so mind knows what it knows. Okay, so you have the experience of knowing about all of science, all of religion, all of every single idea, concept, theory that has ever existed in the whole of mankind. But you're not really interested in that, you see. And rightfully so, you're not interested in that. I'm only interested in what is taking place in this body and mind. So I'm only interested in what I'm sucking from this whole oxygen. So mind knows a hell of a lot about its own teachings. Mind knows nothing new other than what it knows. You see? So it recycles what it knows. Okay? So when I say to you, can you find the space between form and formlessness? Form and formlessness. So this space above this form, can you find the space between the two that separates the two? Mind says, well, that's very interesting, I understand that, because we're now looking from sucking from the whole oxygen. It is now filtering through, and you have some personal idea through this universal scientific discovery of form and formlessness. So form and formlessness now make sense. Yes, I can understand that. But I can't see the space. I actually can't see the space. You see, I can't get any idea on this. I could do some theories and use some equipment. But no, I can't see the space between form and formlessness. But when a new concept, a new idea, a new question comes in, it is absolutely brand new in this whole tank of oxygen, this whole tank of mind. So I'm raising this question. Can you the space? Or can you find the space? Can you find the space between space and no space? The whole tank freezes. It's a new question. So mind wants to, in its tank, investigate, analyze. I don't know what this means. This moment of not knowing, this moment of freezing time, of no response, is enlightenment. So the moment a question arises that makes no sense to this universal mind, you are experiencing truth as truth. Because the one that raises the question has to be connected to this truth before it can raise this question of truth. No, the question is not truth. It's the birth of the question that is truth, because as soon as this question is risen, something will investigate, something will analyze, something will explore, something will try and work out. Can you see the space between space and non-space? Oh my God, that's going to drive me crazy. Mr. Scientist says, none of this is about trying to investigate who is right, who is wrong, what is right, what is wrong. It is newness. Everything is born new. The moment the mind interferes, it becomes fake. The mind has tampered with something so precious, so pristine. It has flawed the unflawable. Whatever comes is unflawable. A child comes through the mother's womb. It is absolute bliss, absolute unflawable, absolute perfectness. You cannot find a word that can describe this feeling of newness, of euphoria, birth. The moment you give it a name, you flaw it. The moment you say it's beautiful, it has someone's eyes, you are analyzing something that is absolutely pure. Do you understand this? No one is saying don't do this. We're trying to get to the root of truth. By not awakening, by not enlightenment, by none of these ideas and concepts that God will come and show you the light and all these paths. We're trying to get to the truth through the truth. Experience this moment. Can you find a space between space and no space? Peace, emptiness, no knowledge, no flaw, no discovery, no attempts, no movements, silence, emptiness experienced. You have experienced total enlightenment. Through a question that has never been raised, being raised in the whole universal mind. And even if it has been raised by some other enlightened being, in this whole tank, this tiny question has to find some room to be analyzed and explored. The moment mind analyzes, explores, and tries to make something of something, it becomes fake. It becomes flawed. This God only produces perfectness. Everything that is born perfect. When a mind makes something of it, good or bad, is destroyed what has came. But the good news is it's only the idea of what this mind thinks about this perfectness that has been destroyed. So the mind is destroying itself constantly. Unless we accept life as it is, in its perfect state. This is not about materialism and about segregation and colors of people and different religions and science. This is far, far deeper than that. This is about accepting everything as the same thing. oneness, unflawable, untarnishable. You are that, you see. Your mind keeps masking truth from itself. When you believe that you are this body and mind, you are wearing a veil until the veil is removed. And no one can guide anything to removing it. That is why this particular body and mind sits with no effort, with no interest, with no objective, with no aim, with no methods. It sits and allows something to speak through it as some sort of vessel, like a teacup, where the tea is far more important than the cup. But when you realize that you are this cup, to drink the tea with no cup is impossible. And you're going to burn your lips. So even this body as a vessel, as a utensil, as an object with no life, serves its purpose. For the one, the great one, to give birth constantly, spew out birth every moment. Total, flawless birth. Pure, infinite creation every moment. Whether in form, whether in space, whether in time, whether in movement, whether in thought. The moment mind tries to change it, make something of it, improve it, give it an identity, make it secondary, make it superior, make it derogatory, make it beautiful, it's been flawed. And you have been hoaxed. Your body and mind has been hoaxed into thinking that good is better than bad. The minute you pay attention with the idea of changing, with the idea of preference, with the idea of pushing aside one and pulling another in, is the idea of selectivity, is the idea of changing what is absolutely perfect and beautiful. Well, God only produces newness. This reflective mirror only shines brilliance. The minute you try and describe brilliance, you make it flawed. It is as it is. These words are not taken on board or accepted by those who are fooled into believing goodness. This path of goodness is the path. That is part of the game, you see. The other path, badness, anger, cruelty, also part of the game. The one that sees beyond all of that is not any of that. What is it? What am I? That's the whole question that goes. The initial question, who am I? How can I be seen? What am I looking from? Where am I looking as? Has been answered with no answer. Simply the removal of the questions. It matters not what I am. It matters not what is going on. It is a miracle. And the one that is behind this miracle has something in hand. It cannot give constant new birth without providing death to take away the flawed. The minute the flawed is taken away, a superior birth, is replacing it. You be the one that follows no paths, and simply accepts what you are as what you are, and be in love with yourself and nothing else. Not your body and your mind, your true self, your self-discovery, your self-inquiry. You be that one. And something awaits you that is beyond all this and that. And I'll see you there. Namaste.